Yo, what is up everybody? It is Thursday, and for those of you who don't have enough time to go through the gigantic patch notes we just received, I'll be breaking them down into smaller bite-sized chunks so you can still get the information you need, but at your own pace. Alright, let's get straight into things with the hidden patch note that brings flyers and gunships on eradication missions. So be prepared to have some anti-air capabilities, though it's not always guaranteed that they'll show up. So in this part 1 video of the patch notes, I'm going to just quickly be going over the Orbital Eagle buffs as well as some enemy changes that they added to the field, and the other notes I'll add in a different video. So let's get straight into the Orbitals. So the Orbital stratums that got buffed this patch are the Orbital Gatling. So the Orbital Gatling has increased fire rate by 25%, increased rounds from 30 to 60, so it basically doubled its duration. It increased armor penetration, so now it can damage heavy armored enemies, and it decreased its cooldown from 80 to 70 seconds. So it got a huge buff, and all of these upgrades make the Orbital Gatling an amazing stratagem to use, as it's up frequently and can deal with basically every enemy type in the game besides gunships. Next is the Orbital Precision Strike, which had its cooldown decreased from 100 to 90 seconds, and decreased its call time from 4 seconds to 2 seconds, making it so much easier to hit the targets with. The Orbital Airburst Strike was also slightly buffed to have its cooldown reduced from 120 seconds to 100 seconds. These 3 orbital strikes should be added to your arsenal as soon as possible, as they are quick to come back and are all provide either great AoE or high damage for very quick refresh time. Moving on to the Eagle stratagems though, there are 2 that were buffed. The first is the rocket pods, which have been improved targeting system. They have increased projectile armor penetration from 50% to 100%, but decreased its damage from 600 to 250, which sounds like a nerf. But when testing it on heavy enemies, it basically 2-shots chargers and Bile Titans, so it definitely feels stronger against the tank class enemies. The second buff was to the Eagle Strafing Run. So I've never used this until now, but man is it fun. So its uses were increased from 3 to 4, and at max you can get 5 uses out of it. And it also has increased armor penetration, which can now damage heavily armored enemies. So now you can use this to kill Bile Titans, chargers, tanks, factory striders, turrets, and much more. I would say it's not the best for killing tank class enemies, but it definitely does work. And it comes down very quickly, and it has 5 uses, so it's a great damage spam stratagem, which can also help with wave clearing if need be. Also, if you're a pro like I am, you can even hit gunships with this stratagem and take them down in a single strike. Though, granted, it is very difficult to do. Alright, let me now point out the changes to the game. As you may have noticed, the spawn rates have been changed so that heavy armored enemies like the Bile Titan, the Chargers, all have a 30% decreased spawn rate during bug breaches, and decreased Hulk spawning as well. Instead, an increase in the other enemy types are increased to fill in the gap, basically making it more important to have wave clear over always prioritizing anti-tank equipment. A great change, as this will allow a variety of builds to flourish. The acid effect, applied by hunters, bug mines, and etc., now allows you to sprint under its effects and slows you by 30% instead of 50%, but it increased its duration from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. Making it less punishing to the players to be slowed while fighting the Terminids. An amazing addition which allows many Helldivers to survive longer. A patrol spawning is now back to how it worked before, such as that in like 1.0003, with more patrol spawning to make levels less empty if you're not at the main objectives. Stunning has changed such that the medium and large sized enemies don't get stunned easily, though this is a nerf directed specifically at the pummeler. Another huge change is that the Bile Spewers and Nursing Spewers get slowed if they lose a leg, and Puke only damages Helldivers up to 4 times per second, which should stop the instant kill mechanic they used to have. Bile Titan's head is also less durable to weaker anti-tank weapons such as the Railgun, but the Bile Titan Puke also only damages players up to 4 times per second and cannot take damage multiple times from the same projectile. However, the spread has increased. The Charger Behemoth, so that's like the charger with the axe on its head, now joins the battle and can take more damage to kill, so you just gotta be careful of these bad boys. The Chargers will only show bleed states from the body if the bleed was procced, but they can show bleeding from their mouth without actually having a bleed state procced. So just look for the body to show when it's bleeding. The Hulk Scorcher Flamethrower does less damage and cannot damage the players more than 4 times per second and can't hit multiple times by the same projectile, also limiting their one-shot potential, and these Hulks have had for so long. So basically they nerfed the Bile Titan, the Snursing and Spitter Spewers, as well as the Hulks from one-shotting the players, which is super nice. The Automaton tanks also have a change, such that the armor value on the front has been lowered to the same as the non-vent section on the rear of the tank, and those pesky exploding automaton jump packs damage has decreased by 50%, but it will still set you on fire. So you'll get no more kamikaze tactics from the automatons, but just be wary of those jump pack automaton. I think they're called commissars, I might be wrong on that. They shouldn't one-shot you anymore, but they will still cause you to light on fire. But that's about everything I want to talk in this part 1 version of the patch notes. I hope you guys found this to be more digestible than that huge section of reading all of the patch notes, which takes about like 20 minutes. I'm thinking I'll try to do maybe 3 videos with everything you need to know. But if you did like this kind of content, please leave a like so I know. Subscribe if you're new, and honestly, leave a comment. I'd love to talk to you guys to hear your opinions on some of the changes. There's so many more. I think the next video I'm going to make, the part 2 will be on the weapons that they upgraded. So the primary weapons and maybe some support weapons too. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. I hope you have an amazing day, and thanks for watching.